It was obviously a great night for Hog fans as the team stays alive, headed to the next round. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer caught up with some Hog fans during the game on how they thought the game would go. They weren't too far off.
If you couldn't be in Providence, Rhode Island tonight, the next best place was on Dixon Street, calling the Hogs in the first round of March Madness.
Being in Arkansas, really the premier sports team in the state, it's something that I can't really put into words. Hard to replicate.
Razorback fans, they're loyal through the ups and the downs.
That's a tough hill to climb, but here we are, we made it.
There's something to be said about even making it to the tournament with how the season went.
I mean, I had faith in Cal. It's kind of tough when you rebuild a roster from 0 or 1, Trevon Brazil coming back. But Hall of Fame coach.
Honestly, I was kind of a doubter, but they brought me back in.
The fans had their guesses on how the game against the Jayhawks would go.
Win by 20.
I think we're going to be down at the first half by 8, and I think that we're going to claw our way back. I think Boogie Flan's going to hit a big 3 with about 4 minutes left to really swing the momentum and give us that push that we need.
But things went a little more like this.
I'm thinking it's Hogs squeak out, a tough win. It's probably going to be an ugly game, 10 versus 7. Probably won't be very pretty to watch, but I think we get it done.
And the Razorbacks will stick it out through another round of the madness.
You get chills in your skin every time you're there.
Go Hogs.
Woo Pig.
Go Hogs.
In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
All right, Lauren, thanks. Of course, you can continue to follow the Razorbacks' quest for a national championship on our free 5 News app. President Trump took his first steps tonight toward fulfilling a campaign promise to get rid of the Department of Education. The agency distributes billions in federal money every year to colleges and schools. Erica Brown is at the White House with details on the president's plan.
Surrounded by children seated at school desks, President Trump moved forward with his plans to dismantle the Department of Education.
We're going to eliminate it, and everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right, and I hope they're going to be voting for it because ultimately it may come before them.
But President Trump's executive order alone won't be enough to do away with the DOE. That would require approval from Congress. Trump says some of the agency's programs will continue.
If you look at the Pell Grants, it's supposed to be a very good program, Title I funding and resources for children with special disabilities and special needs. They're going to be preserved in full and redistributed to various other agencies and departments.
As the Trump administration continues its massive government overhaul, the Department of Government Efficiency faced a new legal challenge Thursday. A federal judge temporarily blocked DOJ's access to Social Security Administration systems that hold personal data on millions of Americans. And the president continued his attacks in the ongoing legal battle over the administration's recent deportations to El Salvador after they allegedly ignored a federal judge's ruling to temporarily halt the flights. D.C. District Judge James Boasberg said the administration, quote, evaded its obligations to answer his questions about the 2 flights deporting alleged Venezuelan gang members, calling the response so far woefully insufficient.
Basically, he wanted us to do is turn planes around in midair full of terrorists and bring them back into the United States, which is just ridiculous. And we didn't do it.
Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley says he plans to propose legislation that would restrict a judge's ability to issue injunctions against Trump's agenda. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Today at the Arkansas Capitol, a committee moved forward with a $750 million plan to fund the construction of a new prison in Franklin County. Joint Budget Committee advanced the bill today, but still needs approval in both the House and Senate. Comes after groups of lawmakers have raised big concerns about the price tag. Governor announced plans for the 3,000-inmate state prison set to be built in the Charleston area last year. As the budget moved forward today, another group is coming forward calling for caution, saying the Franklin County Prison will be built on sacred burial sites. Chiefs Jimmy Kirsch and Justin Flanagan of the Chickamauga Nation tell 5 News that they were originally granted land by Thomas Jefferson back in the 1800s. Over the last 10 months, they have searched throughout the state for the burial sites of their ancestors with the help of anthropologists. That's how they learned the Franklin County Prison is set to be built on one of those sacred burial sites.
It's no different than going to a cemetery and desecrating the grave of one of your loved ones, and just totally disrespecting your culture, your traditions, and your ancestors. And we just hope that the governor will communicate with us about this particular site.
Chickamauga Nation hopes the state will be receptive to their request and avoids the area where their ancestors are buried when building that prison. New tonight, Governor Sanders also signing new abortion regulations into law today. The bill clarifies aspects of the abortion ban that went into effect when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The amendments include what qualifies as a medical emergency, specifying that the criteria to terminate a pregnancy is if the mother is in physical danger. It also clarifies that psychological or emotional conditions are prohibited. State of Oklahoma executing a death row inmate today. Wendell Grissom was put to death for the murder of Amber Matthews. He was convicted of murdering her during a home invasion in 2005. The other defendant in the case was sentenced to life in prison. Grissom's request to be spared from the execution was denied by the State Pardon and Parole Board back last month. His execution today, the first in Oklahoma this year. A crash involving an 18-wheeler hauling animal parts, creating a big mess today on I-49, happening in Springdale, just north of the Elm Springs Road exit. RDOT had to close multiple northbound lanes while crews cleaned up this horrible mess. RDOT says that scene was clear, though, by 7:45 tonight. A cyclist still in the hospital after a serious crash in Bentonville. Incident raised concerns about road safety for bikers and drivers alike. Bentonville leaders say safer roads start with better infrastructure. City is building paths and tunnels to separate cyclists from traffic, hoping to prevent future accidents. Transportation Director Dan Weiss says 34,000 cars drive past that location where the accident happened every day.
The safest thing you can do, in my belief, and as a professional engineer, we do a lot of research on these things, get the cyclist above or below the road and the pedestrian, so put them in a bridge or a tunnel.
A tunnel planned about 600 feet away from the intersection is being planned. Weiss says they're in the process of marking some areas out now and getting construction started.